I was born by cesarean section, and she got an embolism in her system, which at the time in the 40s, this was 1946, and they didn't have any way of detecting blood clots, and this blood clot had formed during the cesarean operation. And it just kind of sat dormant there in her system because there was no way of detecting them. And they didn't get the ladies up and walk around like they do today after childbirth to help dissolve these clots away. So this one just sat dormant in mom's system for about 4 days, 5 days. And when she became more active, so did the clots began to move through her system, unbeknownst to anybody. And actually, I was on the bed ready to come home. Dad was on his way to get us. And mom just, this embolism hit her heart, and she just, her eyes rolled back in her head, and she just fell back on the bed and was gone that quick. No indication at all that there was a problem. So, you know, of course, for my dad, it was devastating. He has 3 kids and King of the Cowboys, and 1946 was the height of the man's career, and then all of a sudden, overnight, he finds himself a widower with 3 young'uns and absolutely nobody in his life at that point to take care of his kids. So he had to really jump on it at a bad time of his life and try to get somebody in to take care of us. And he hired nannies to watch out over us. But I never got to know my real mom. And then when I was about 1.5 years old, he married Dale, and she just kind of stepped in and really took over with us kids, and we just loved her to death. I mean, all of us did. I think Cheryl had a little bit of a problem with her early on because Cheryl was she was the first one in the family. Dad adopted her first, and because they didn't think that my mom and Roy could have children, so they adopted Cheryl. She was kind of the queen bee. She was the one that, the oldest one, and she wanted to be the mom. I mean, she did. She wanted to take care of me and Linda Lou, and she just thought she'd step into that role after Mom, what she called her mom, passed away. And of course, it didn't happen. Dad needed some adults to do it. So, but when Dad married Dale, because it was kind of funny because Cheryl would always get between Dale and Roy at events and stuff to try to keep them separated. But you know, it was just the good Lord. It was meant to be, and it didn't work out. But Dale was my mother. I mean, she came in, and when I was 1.5 years old, and all of us kids just loved her to death. And I never knew any other mother, so. She was, you know, mother means a lot of things to different people. There's your birth mother, and then, of course, you don't know much about your mother till you get older. Well, that's where I was, and Dale was my mom by that time, so I couldn't ask for a better one. Couldn't ask for a better one. Dad was an old country boy, and things didn't really matter to him, and he just loved to hunt and fish and do what he wanted to do. Dale, and the Westerns, Dad fit into the Westerns just like a pair of good boots. Mom she could care less about the Westerns. She was an ingenue. She wanted to be the big band singer. She came out to California to work in Buzzy Berkeley's musical, and that's what she wanted to do, big band singer, you know. And they sent her out to audition with Dad, and they were looking for Actually, Republic was looking for a new leading lady for Dad, someone who could sing, do everything. And so they called over to Fox, and they said, "Do you have anybody that we need a young leading lady for Roy Rogers?" And they said, "Well, sure we do. Her name's Dale Evans." And they said, "Well, the thing is, she has to be beautiful. She has to sing like a bird, and she has to be able to set a horse. She needs to be able to ride." Oh yeah, Dale will fit. She'll fit the horse. Mom had not been on a horse since she was 3 or 4 years old on her mom's farm, Mom and Dad's farm. So, but again, the good Lord stepped in, and her mom went out to location, you know, dressed to the nines, thinking she was going to try out for this music thing, and she showed up in a long dress, thinking she was going to play, and the next thing I know, the director said, "Dale, we want you to get up on this horse. I want you to ride to the end of the street and sit there with Roy and Gabby and Big Boy Williams, and when I throw my hat down, I want you all to ride to the camera, and when you get close, just pull up on your horse, and we'll see how you look on horseback." So she did. She got on a horse. I mean, Mom was a trooper. I mean, like Dad said, you can tell a Texan, but not much. You cannot tell Dale she can't do something because she'll just prove you wrong every time.
And you're listening to Dusty Rogers tell the story of his mother and father, Roy and Dale Evans. And my goodness, this happens so often in American life. Women would die of complications in childbirth, and so many children die. When we return, more of the story of Roy Rogers, as told by Roy Dusty Rogers Jr. here on Our American Story. Lee Habib here. As we approach our nation's 250th anniversary, I'd like to remind you that all the history stories you hear on this show are brought to you by the great folks at Hillsdale College. And Hillsdale isn't just a great school for your kids or grandkids to attend, but for you as well. Go to hillsdale.edu to find out about their terrific free online courses. Their series on communism is one of the finest I've ever seen. Again, go to hillsdale.edu and sign up for their free and terrific online courses.
Now, the most up-to-date weather forecast here on KFTV. We still have that stationary front and low-pressure system nearby. Showers and thunderstorms, pretty good possibility for the overnight hours. We'll be in the low 60s. And then for Labor Day, more showers and few afternoon thunderstorms. Mid-60s on the afternoon high. Rain will taper off Monday night. We're back to some sunshine on Tuesday with mid-70s.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. There's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health. Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
Did not believe how hearing had life changed. Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Now, ways to be safe and healthy on the farm. Call Central State Center for Agricultural Safety and Health at the University of Nebraska Center, 802-552-3394.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But sometimes we don't see what's right in front of us. Victory over cancer is in front of us. Right now, cancer research is saving lives. Cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to new discoveries and new treatments, and ultimately, one day, victory over cancer. Give to the V Foundation. Right now, 1 out of every 2 men and 1 out of every 3 women will get cancer in their lifetime. Now is your time. You may save someone you love. 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing research. 100%. Donate at V.org. Because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. My name is John David Carpton.
Dr. Kimberly Stegmeyer.
I'm a medical oncologist.
And I focus on cancer prevention.
People are always asking me,
Why? Why do I do this work?
2 words come to mind for me. One is responsibility. The other is purpose.
there was a child that, I took care of and adored, and she said to me, Dr. Kim, will you remember me forever? Sorry. It's been a hard year.
Every day I think of the faces of patients when I see their smiles, when I tell them that new treatments are helping their lives.
It's just so inspiring to do research that impacts human lives.
Stand Up to Cancer has been a critical partner in advancing research for cancer.
Cancer research saves lives.
So please, help us fight in this battle against cancer.
Be a part of the team that ends cancer at standuptocancer.org.
Yes.
We continue with Our American Stories, and with Dusty Rogers telling the story of his mother and father, Roy and Dale Evans. Wannabe big band singer Dale first met Roy Rogers in 1944 on the set of a Western movie where she was screen tested riding a horse. Let's pick up here with Roy Rogers Jr., again, also known as Dusty.
She got on a horse and they took off running, and it came to the camera, and the guy dropped his hat, and they pulled up, and when they did, the horse just jammed Mom into the saddle. He just pounded her because she didn't know how to set it right, and it knocked the caps off of her teeth, and Big Boy Williams' horse set on her teeth and they were all jagged, and they had to shed that redone. But and the producer said, "Well, Dale, that wasn't too bad. Roy, what do you think?" Dad said, and he said, I think it was Billy Whitney at the time, and he said, "Billy, I swear, I have never seen so much sky between a woman's rear end and a saddle in my life. But she learned to ride, and I think she did something totally against what she really wanted to do, because at that time you did what you needed to do to make money to survive. And but she fit in so well and did it so well. Dad, he just had to be himself, but Mom was totally opposite, but she learned to adapt and go along with what the thing was, which was Western and cowboy songs, and that's way away from big band and big orchestra music. But Mom was a trooper, and just always, whatever the situation was, she stepped in and said, "I'm going to do it," and did. Well, she, you know, I mean, after the birth of Tom, I'm sure, and then of course her husband left her when she was just young. And of course, then she was, like I said, starving and trying to make a career. So I think she always longed for a child. And so when she married Roy, and they had a chance to have a child of their own, you know, they jumped right on it. And then of course when Robin was born and found out that she had Down syndrome, again it was a shock. You know, I mean, you're never ready for that. But then it's something that this is a lovely young human being that's from both of us. You know, there must be a reason why. They didn't know. Nobody knew at that time what caused Down. And they recommended that they put her in an institution. The doctor said, "You need to put her in an institution." And Dad said, "Are you kidding me? We're not putting her in an institution." She says, "This is our child. We're going to take her home and love her." And so against the doctor's order, they did. They took her home and made us, Dad built a special area for her and protect her from us kids, you know, because she was very fragile. But even during the time that Robin was there and very ill, they just, both of them just loved that little girl to death. I mean, it was part of them, and they wanted her, of course we all wanted her to survive. The doctor said that probably she wouldn't, but you don't know that. You know, had we had the medications they have today for Down syndrome children, Robin probably could have lived into her 40s or 50s. We don't know. But it was a gift from God. And Dad always said, you never give a gift up, you never throw it away. A gift is a gift. No matter who gives it to you, you keep it. And